So, Trump just fired the head of the BLS, Powell's being targeted, and the job numbers totally revised. We are about to see a stock market crash or an epic rally. There is no in between. Welcome everyone back to Fatal Investing. The market is at a tipping point. I would argue at an awesome buying point at some point this week coming up possibly, or we're just going to be witnessing one of the wildest days in the US economy's history. Let's break it all down. So first of all, hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. And President Trump started his off by firing Erica McFanter. I'm butchering that name, so I apologize for that. The head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, all you know, we've had a gripe with this bureau for quite some time because that 838,000 job revisions back last year, the million before that, and now we got this craziness, right? Like, side question for all of you. If you screwed up this much in your job, wouldn't you be fired by now? So the question is, was this really justified or just too late, right? Kind of talking about too late, Powell. Trump, you should have fired her way sooner, right? Private non-farm payrolls got revised from 47,000 to 3,000, right? 3, not 30,000, 3. Right? And then the manufacturing payrolls got revised from -7 to -15K. We also saw average hourly earnings going up, so people are still making more. And this is why the numbers don't make sense, right? Just taking a side quest real quick right here, why the numbers don't make sense. So unemployment is not going up, but the numbers of people that are no longer in the job market or are seeking the job market is going down. It's like, the two can't exist together. Just please throw in the comment section below if you can make sense of it, because I simply can't. We saw our participation rate staying the exact same. So it's like, okay, unemployment, the people that are unemployed, and again, friendly reminder, unemployment's only 6 months. So there's a roll-off period where these things get rolled off. Private payrolls, a 3, now 83. 14, previously revised from 147. So you just misplaced the whole damn decimal. Whoops, so we can't do simple algebra. But again, the inflation numbers this week weren't even that bad, right? 2.6 previously, it was 2.4 on the price index, but really core was the story that stole the show. 2.8, flat inflation, nothing real much. Again, nothing is more transitory for inflation than tariffs, as Scott Bessa put it, one of the most beautiful quotes out there in existence. And again, Trump is accusing the agency of manipulating data to make his policies look weak. Well, the data just doesn't seem right to begin with, right? Whether that is the data needs to go lower to tell the true story or the data needs to go higher. But one of the things that we talk about also on the channel, as much as you want to have an opinion about the data, it's what the market believes. And the market took it with stride today of 89% chance of a Federal Reserve cut in September, right? This thing was sitting at 42% nearly a day ago, right? And December now is confirming not 1, not 2, 3 rate cuts. 3 rate cuts guaranteed this year. So everyone is basically saying, holy crud, the Fed has lost its control. The economy is crashing. Everyone's writing it off. And this is where the beautiful thing is. This is why you all subscribe to this channel. If you haven't, consider subscribing down below, where you find the secret sauce in everything, because the same people that were telling you this in April, and let's just refresh your memory, what happened in April? Well, it was the most beautiful, buying opportunity of the century. And yeah, so like just take a look at this, right? Everyone said the world was ending. We were in extreme fear. The world is ending. Tariffs are going to end. And now they're saying the same thing. Yes, the market is going to most likely head a little bit lower. And we're going to get into the exact levels towards the end of the video. But I want to dive into exactly what's coming up this week, what earnings are coming up with this week, and also some of the earnings that actually happened this week. So without further ado, let's dive into them about exactly what happened. So we got Amazon earnings as well this week. Amazon just cratered, absolutely had good earnings, crater below the 50 in the kangaroo. To me, this is an excellent buying opportunity. You had Meta and Microsoft both give you a discount from their awesome earnings, right? Meta coming down, breaking to a new weekly higher high, trying to fill this gap and actually rotating on its previous all-time high right here. So if you think Meta is going down any cheaper, nope, buy it while you still can at these prices. Microsoft, again, similar rotation, may have a little more room to run to fill that gap, right? Barely came to filling that gap, but don't necessarily chase the gap fill. Be on the lookout for it, but don't necessarily chase it. So all these amazing opportunities. You got Goog having a little bit of a gap, but it could go right back to the upside again, rotating off this previous resistance, kind of forming that cup and handle right here on the chart. So again, this next week is going to be the tipping point. It's going to be the scales for the week. We also have Berkshire Hathaway this weekend. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how that all plays out on Monday. I see a W in the making here. I think Berkshire Hathaway is going to go absolutely insane. Throw down in the comments section below what you guys think. And again, you got stocks like Apple that are just absolutely cratering. I said Apple was not a good buy because it's below the 200-day moving average and staying in this 50-day moving average, and now has broken it. So again, where is Apple going? 182 is the target I would be setting personally, because all this consolidation is leading to more downside. Just gonna head down, breaking down the channel already as we see here, and is heading lower. Let's go back to all the politics, all the funness, right? All the things about the BLS data and what could be happening next. So with the BLS data that's going on with everything, again, it was a major shift, and the numbers don't necessarily make sense. They have a bit of a misnomer about it. And again, no one's going to resolve this issue. Firing the BLS head is not going to resolve this issue between now and September, right? It's not going to get resolved. You're only going to see one more jobs report, and it could be very, very interesting to see how it gets revised. What the future revisions, do they go back and revise it again? Who knows, right? And also we got all the tariff developments. And I would like to point out that India has basically said, along with the Trump basically saying that, hey, you need to step down to Powell, we saw India has claimed that they will not be buying Russian oil. Why is that important? Why is the market freaking out all of a sudden about India not wanting to buy Russian crude? Well, Trump did say that you're going to get 100% tariff if you buy Russian crude or any energy from Russia, which will lead to a big kerfuffle about China. China is openly saying that they are going to buy Russian crude. So is China setting up for 100% tariff? Will President Trump follow through on it? Time will tell. And then Trump on Putin. I will see what happens next, right? So developments occurring. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you know when those latest developments happen, and along with what the stock market is going to be doing. But what if you could figure that out for yourself, right? We give you the levels that the S&P needs to stay at and probably the probability of that happening. So let's just recap what happened this week. We broke to a weekly lower low, and also we had an engulfing candle. What does that mean? Well, the whole body of the candle we're at right now engulfed the previous one. That is an extremely bearish sign. We had it back here before the April drop as we're heading into the crazy tariff war. So are we setting up for another crazy tariff war? Are we prepared for another, let's say, approximately 5%, which would be a mild correction? Again, very, very possible. We've seen these crazy things in 2017 where we saw the massive correction that rebounded very quickly. And as Tom Lee said, this is probably the most hated V-shaped recovery in existence. So how would I be playing it, and how I think everyone should be playing it? You have a very simple pivot this week, right? We get rid of the weekly levels right here, and we talk about the pivot levels. The pivot level is the low of the week. As simply as it can put, there's two strategies. Either you're going to break this candle to the upside, breaking the 626, filling the gap, breaking to 640, new all-time highs, or you're heading to the 50-day moving average, which is right here. Once you get to the 50-day moving average, do you just slam right through it? Do you just keep going? Do you go to the 200? We're seeing volume is ramping as price is going down. So we want to see when volume starts de-escalating, leading to price kind of forming a bottom. Right now, we don't have evidence of that. So again, it's very simple for the entire week. 619, break down. 626, break up. It doesn't matter. Take everything everyone is saying, including myself, right? Throw it out the window. And those are the only two numbers that matter. They're the only ones that matter. We can do the same exercise for the NASDAQ, right? We can do the same exercise here where we go in, delete the weekly levels, and simply put the pivot levels of this candle right here. That's all that matters. And again, where we can kind of talk about statistics of what it can do, what I can tell you going to go 20% to the upside. It doesn't matter, guys. Break 559, momentum keeps going upwards. Break 551, 50 day is your next target. Do you break the 50 day? You're going to have to stay tuned for that because we have no clue what's going to happen. It's going to be an amazing week. And also, Berkshire Hathaway reporting earnings this week and could absolutely just change this whole dynamic. Everyone could remember Warren Buffett in the glory days. And quoting Warren Buffett, the man, the myth, the legend himself, when others are greedy, be fearful. When others are fearful, be greedy. I would argue in the current situation, and that is fearful territory because we went from extreme greed to neutral in a single week. So the game is fair game for either team, meaning the momentum on the chart can be broken whichever way possible, leading to one of the craziest weeks ever. And I would like to point out that the VIX didn't even get above a large significant number this week, but on Friday, it did crack a little bit above 20. However, failed to crack that really panicked threshold of 21 previously. So finding that one very interesting. Throw in the comment section below what do you guys think. But again, fear and greed sitting at 50 right now. And also, completely forgot about this side note. Cougar, which was one of the Fed chairs, actually is stepping down, paving the way for Trump to plant basically his pick for the Federal Reserve in the Fed board governor, someone that will dissent from Powell, another dissenting voice, creating tension in the Fed. Again, dissent. If you haven't read the book Lords of Easy Money, highly recommend it. It talks about all the things Fed related and leads to why this is super, super important. Too long didn't read version. Dissenting from the Fed is like a death sentence for the Federal Reserve, for the chair. So Fed chairs traditionally try to quell it out, but it's going to be very, very difficult if you got a Trump appointee on the board. Throw it down in the comment section below. Who do you think Trump is going to appoint? Where are you looking bullish or bearish this week? And friendly reminder about net short positions, actually still shorting 163,000. So there's plenty of fuel to screw these bears over this week. So throw it in the comment section below if you're team bull or bear. I'd be looking forward to seeing your comments. We'll respond to every last one of them. Check out the Discord on the top left over here and the latest 2 videos on the bottom left. You guys are awesome. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.